Okay, quick updates. I no longer hurt in my throat every time I swallow. But when I woke up this morning, there was a big clump of phlegm just jammed in there, and the coughing has actually started, so that is a positive sign in the right direction. It is more confirming to the idea that I've built up in my head that I do not have the coronavirus, but rather just a normal cough. So we'll see how things go on, but for now, I will have to pause this commentary from time to time to let out a few and all that stuff, because it's going to happen eventually. But I wanted to talk some more about that game yesterday. Now don't worry, I'm not going to start ranting like I kind of did last night. Not angrily, just to the best of my ability, trying my best to enforce the ideas that were built up inside of my heart. And I do acknowledge that probably talking about it in a super negative way, it's not the proper way to go about things. But let's talk a little bit about something that I didn't really touch on all too much in yesterday's video. Let's talk about Elias Pettersson, hits, referees, and calls. Because last night, there was a moment where Elias Pettersson was coming in on the left wing. He cuts in over the blue line, he's down the left boards, and once he reaches the hash marks, he drops the puck back for JT Miller. The guy who's trailing him, the guy who's on his tail and who has shadowed him this entire segment, is Matt Grzelcyk. And after Pettersson drops the puck back, Pettersson kind of braces himself. He's looking forward to the hit because the guy was on him, and you finish your checks after the puck is gone and all that stuff. That's how you play hockey, especially when you're right beside the guy. But Grzelcyk doesn't hit Pettersson immediately. Pettersson has enough time to skate into the corner and curl inwards to go behind the net. But while he's doing that, that is when Grzelcyk comes in and bodies him into the boards. That's when Pettersson let his guard down, and that's when he got hit. It was a dangerous-looking play, really bad-looking hit, and Vancouver fans were steaming that Grzelcyk, A, didn't see anything from other Canucks on the ice. Nobody stood up for Pettersson on that hit. And B, there was no call. And I think one of these moments kind of speaks to a little bit of the other dynamic that the Vancouver Canucks need to address, in my opinion. Because aside from the Russells, aside from the Ferlands, aside from these guys that we haven't really seen all too much of this year, Roussel was out for a lot of the beginning and Ferland is out now, the Vancouver Canucks don't have too many people who, quote-unquote, answer the bell in that respect. Now, sure, we do see it once in a while. If Markstrom gets hit by a guy, we see Bo Horvat or Brock come in there and try to calm things down. We see other players on this team who eventually do step up when their teammates are in need. But Canucks fans were really upset to see that nobody stood up for Pettersson, aside from Travis Green, who was yelling from the bench. Nobody came in to interfere with Grzelcyk or anything. Nobody shoved him around. Pettersson got up, he was okay, and Grzelcyk actually checked up on him. But the fact that there was no penalty and the fact that there was no retaliation is something that I really didn't like to see either. That kind of did fuel into my pensive ideas that I was trying to portray in the video yesterday. Well, Pettersson actually spoke out about this a little bit earlier today. I drop the puck, I'm ready to get hit, and I see him beside me. He doesn't hit me. Then, 2 seconds later, he hits me once I'm relaxed. I was frustrated because it's kind of like a dirty play. The hit is 10 meters from where I dropped the puck, Pettersson says about the hit. Furthermore, Pettersson also said this: the refs already have a tough job. I'm not looking for calls. I don't want to have a reputation. I'm not embellishing or diving. I want to play hard hockey and play with respect. All I can control is playing my best hockey. So, from there, I really like the maturity and the overall message that Pettersson is trying to give out here, that the calls per se aren't necessarily all too important, but the fact that he is trying to focus on playing his best game. Now, to me, it's a little concerning as a fan because I'm sitting here and saying, okay, well, Pettersson isn't going to complain about being hit like that. Obviously, he may feel frustrated, feel like it's a dirty play, whatever, but he's not going to rattle out anybody on the ice, oh, the referee should have called that or whatever. But it just rubs me the wrong way to sit here and say, darn, I wish we could have done something about that. And it's actually incredibly funny because speaking about 2011 and Boston and all that stuff, that hit was indeed late. And one of the things that I saw last night that people were talking about was probably one of the most infamous hits in Vancouver Canucks history. Another late one as well, Aaron Rome on Nathan Horton in Game 3 of the 2011 finals. Because that one was also a late hit. In fact, if you time it, that Nathan Horton hit was a little bit earlier than the Grzelcyk hit. Obviously, the magnitude, the context, the players involved, all that stuff, it's not the same. I get that. But it's just interesting to take a look at how some plays could be suspendable for games on games on games and cause up stoppages in play and ejections and all that, and I'm sure the consequences have to do with that as well. But it's crazy how this specific incident with Pettersson, which we have seen before where players have targeted Pettersson and just hit him into the boards, does nothing. It does absolutely nothing, and it actually caused Pettersson to miss a shift or two sitting on the bench trying to recoil his injuries. That's not ideal. And again, I'm not going to complain and say that this hit was exactly the same as the Horton hit. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm using the Horton hit to paint a picture that the NHL is capable of stepping in and putting a stop to this stuff when they want to. But when it comes to Pettersson, doesn't feel like they want to. Sure, maybe I'm just sitting here in this me against the world kind of mentality and promoting a shared cynicism, but it's something that I have noticed over the past few weeks. Same with the power play. I was complaining with the power play yesterday, and people were calling me out saying, no, don't complain about the power play. The team's been great. What are you talking about, Lego? Well, I said this yesterday in a comment. Since January 1st, the Vancouver Canucks are 4th last in the league in power play percentage with 10.9%. Because their power play was so good early on, they're still 7th in the league or something crazy like that, despite playing with one of the league's worst records in the past month. There needs to be work on the power play, because 2 games ago against Carolina, that goes to overtime, that goes to a shootout, the Vancouver Canucks went over, 4 on their power plays? If they score 1 goal on 4 of those power plays that they had, this game doesn't go to overtime, this game is won in regulation. Same with this Boston game over here. If the Vancouver Canucks score 1 goal on any of their power plays, it changes the dynamic of the game. And the way things go out at the end, where the Canucks took some penalties, got some more goals against, and sayonara, that doesn't happen. There aren't separate 5-on-3s that go on for an extended amount of time because the Vancouver Canucks are frustrated and they go overboard. They score on one of those power plays and it breaks the shutout, and it breaks the momentum, and it breaks the way this team perceives the game. And just 1 power play goal hasn't been what the Canucks have been able to do in a few games. And that sucks. So, yeah, I'm going to bring up the power play. If it's not good, it's not good. There were some games where we've been winning with 40-plus shots against Markstrom or Demko look amazing, but the Vancouver Canucks can't get it done in the power play. Sure, the win feels great. Sure, the points feel great. Sure, top 6 in the league feels great, but it doesn't feel great to see a power play with such a stacked personnel with Besser, Miller, Pettersson, Horvat, and Hughes that can't do anything. And I complained about that yesterday because it feels really just tongue-in-cheek over and over and over, like something I've seen before. And I'm complaining about this Pettersson thing today because I know that if the league, if the officials, if the players on the ice wanted to change that, they could. But no one is doing anything to fix it. So, yeah, Pettersson, man. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what I'm gonna title this video. I don't know what the thumbnail's gonna be, I don't know anything. But what I do know is that you're getting a piece of my mind, I guess. So I'm going to go back, not speak again until tomorrow when I make another video and try to clear out my throat. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video. Social Dash 99. And bye.